depth, and even if the Grizzlies win their playing game tonight against the Mavericks, that 1-8 matchup, I wouldn't sleep on that. I mean, I don't think OKC. I don't think they're going to lose
Okay.
it, but that
All right,
1-8
well, let's get
matchup,
into
I'm
it.
just saying.
Let's not waste any more time. Let's get into it because I'm excited you said that. So obviously, starting out west, my opinion, the first game is kind of a scratch, like Cleveland. This first series, pick wise, where you at? You said you think Dallas takes this one. I'm leaning Memphis. Where are you? Did you say
No,
Dallas?
I'm going.
Memphis?
No, no. I would say Dallas if they had Kyrie in the lineup.
Right.
I'm in this. Well, if they had Kyrie in the lineup, they wouldn't be in the play-in. But that's what I'm saying.
Right.
Like from an aesthetic standpoint, you're talking about the bracket. It's
Okay.
like we had
Right.
Dallas versus
Right.
OKC in the
OKC.
first round after
That's
last year. It's like
2011. Yeah.
that would have been nice. But this still reminds me of the early 2000s or it's the 2010s rather, because
Yeah.
feel like the Thunder, the Grizzlies, the Mavericks, they played,
Yeah.
they have the round robin there a little bit in the early 2010s. But in terms of whoever faces the Thunder here, I don't see either of these teams beating the Thunder. Now, I will say this. The Grizzlies, out of all the playing teams still left, right, playing for the 8 seeds, I think the Grizzlies are easily the toughest team because you have Miami on the other side of the bracket. I think you'd have Miami give Cleveland a run there. I don't see Cleveland succumbing to Miami whatsoever. I could see Miami pushing that to 5. But this series right here, it's like if Memphis wins the playing game. It's like I would not doubt that they could push a series to maybe 6 games against the Thunder. Now I know all the Grizzlies fans out there are thinking, no way, we haven't beaten a good squad like the Grizzlies over the second half of the season. Part of why Taylor Jenkins was completely ousted from his position is the Grizzlies. I mean, they couldn't beat a good team. Like literally looking at their schedule, like every single team they beat was a lottery team or a low-end playing team. They could not beat over 500 teams. And even right now, I think going into the playoffs, I see the Grizzlies' morale. It's like head coaches change. John Morant, we don't know how healthy he'll be in the series because let's face it, this whole season, John Morant's been in and out of the lineup, in and out of the lineup. We don't know when he's playing. It's a surprise when he's playing. If he's in the lineup, it's great. It's a nice present for the night. If he's not, it's like, well, what do I expect here? John Morant is typically out of the lineup. He hurts his ankle in that playing game against the Warriors. I don't know how that ankle is going to look. He was definitely hobbling on it. He was definitely limping around on it. It's not like nothing happened there. And he did play the rest of the game on that ankle. But like we've known from NBA history, sometimes you're able to play the rest of the game on your ankle, a sprained ankle, a twisted ankle, whatever it is. And then afterwards, like, it's too swollen to even put in a shoe. That was the story with Isaiah Thomas back in the 1980s with the Pistons. The Pistons, Isaiah Thomas, of course. I believe it was the 1988 NBA Finals, Game 6. Isaiah Thomas sprains his ankle in that game, plays the rest of the game. There's all those famous clips of him limping up and down the court in that game. And the Pistons, if I'm not mistaken, pulled that Game 6 out. It was either the Pistons or the Lakers that needed to pull that game out. But the Pistons pulled that game out and forced a Game 7 against the Lakers. And Isaiah Thomas, he sprains his ankle in that Game 6, plays the rest of Game 6, but then by Game 7, cannot play in Game 7 because his foot literally cannot fit in his shoe. I'm wondering how healthy Ja Morant is going into this series, because it could be a case where the other night, he plays the rest of the game on that ankle, but how durable is the ankle going into the series? If they have a less than 100% of Ja Morant against the Thunder, there is no chance for the Grizzlies. There's no chance. And even with Ja Morant, there might not be a chance for the Grizzlies in this spot against OKC. Regardless, obviously the Grizzlies have to win a game tonight against the Mavericks in order to get there. I don't believe in the Mavericks whatsoever at this time. I think I the Kings and the Mavericks, it's like both of them, somebody had to win that playing game. Somebody had to win that playing game. I saw them as two teams that it's like their morale probably not where it needed to be come playoff times. Like the Dallas Mavericks have just had the season of hell. The Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving, the 2 stars you start out with, they're not here come playoff time. One's in Los Angeles, the other is in a hospital bed. Well, probably not a hospital bed, but we know Kyrie Irving tore his ACL. And those 2 guys not being in the lineup and all of the injuries ravaging the Mavericks this season, it feels like the roster has come back just a little bit at the end of the season. But I just see this as almost a spot where the Mavericks go, we lose this game and we're going to Cancun. We win this game. It's like, we got to go to Oklahoma City and back. It's like, we got to face the Thunder again. And the Grizzlies, they could actually be thinking the same thing within that playing game. It's like, our coach was fired. Oh, we lost to the Warriors the other night. Oh, we cannot believe we're even playing this turn. Like that's the funny part about what this playing, or keep calling them playing series. This playoff series could be between the Thunder and the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies, they were in the running for the 2 seed all season long behind the Thunder, and then all of a sudden at the end of the season, boom, they drop down to 8 because they just cannot win ball games consistently, actually putting up a losing record. And then now they're finding themselves playing a 1 game play-in scenario against the Mavericks. I see both of these teams kind of on the back end of the morale spectrum. That's why I see, like, if you look at the Heat, the Hawks, the Grizzlies, and the Mavericks, the Grizzlies are the best team of the 4, but I think the Heat have the most morality out of all of them when it comes to, and just the team spirit when it comes to actually wanting to win ball games and wanting to compete in the playoffs. I think the Grizzlies, they could have a little bit of a mentality problem behind them, but talent wise, they're going to be tough with the Thunder. They have a lot of size. They don't have a ton of versatility, but they certainly have players on their roster in which can create offensive points like John Morant, like Jaren Jackson Jr., like Desmond Bain, and then the rest of their roster they have a couple of wings who can defend. Now Jalen Wells, that was kind of a bigger loss than people wanted to talk about when it happened, but because at that point in the season everybody thought, oh, the Grizzlies season's lost, but like he was a real wing for that team, and now
He
he's
was.
not going to be
He was.
he's not going to be in the lineup. And I just think either or opponent for the Thunder, 68 wins. I'm gonna point this out for the Thunder about the Thunder right now. The Celtics franchise record for wins in a season is 68, set by the 72-73 Celtics, who oddly enough did not win the NBA title. Now the next season, the 74 Celtics did win the title, but the year in which they set the record, it was 1972-1973, and that team didn't win the title, but they won 68 games. The Celtics have not won 68 games since that point. The Thunder casually put up 68 games this season. 68 wins, I should say. That's insane. That is just utterly insane. And even though, we talk about the experience with the Thunder and yada 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 on and on and on, I mean, everybody thinks they're the most formidable opponent for the Celtics, but like, can they actually beat the Celtics? Blah blah blah. Even on and on through all the conversations, like, is OKC for real? 68 wins is no joke. It's a mark that is extremely historic. We see the most historic franchises in the NBA. Like, their teams don't get there that often. This might be one of the best Thunder team in NBA history, and that's just crazy considering the fact they had literally 3 MVPs before their primes on their roster at one point in time, and Harden, Durant, and Westbrook 10 years ago. But somehow, some way, this Thunder team this year might be the best OKC team of all time. And you throw them out in a first round series, whether it's against the Mavericks who they played last year, completely different look the Mavericks are giving this year, or it's against the Grizzlies who cannot beat a good team to save their lives. The Thunder, they're gonna blow past this series. I think if it's against the Grizzlies, I think it's in 5. I think the Grizzlies could steal a game in that scenario. You get whoop that trick going in game 3. It's like, oh yeah, the Grizzlies come.
Yep.
I will say though, the potential for a sweep here against the Mavericks, certainly there for the Thunder. Even the Grizzlies, though, the Grizzlies, they either have to steal a game 1-2 in OKC or win that game 3. If it's 3-0 going into game 4, I'm sorry, that game is going to be a complete blowout. The Grizzlies are going to roll over. They're done. They might roll over in this whole series if they win this playing game. Who knows? But I do see it. The Grizzlies are really up for the competition. I could see them stealing a game, 1, 2, or 3, and then maybe forcing 5 games there. But otherwise, OKC, there's major, major blowout potential in this series, whether it's against the Grizzlies or the Mavericks, just off of the mentality of the two teams walking in. Give me OKC in 4, maybe 5 against the Grizzlies.
It's funny because Memphis and Dallas are like the two if teams, right? Like with Dallas, it's like if Kyrie Irving was playing, you look at this series and like, oh, this is a series, right? Like this could be 7-6 games. In Memphis, it's like, oh, if they didn't just fire their head coach, right? And if that ship didn't sail, it's like Memphis is a good team. They were the 2 seed at a point of this year, and they're almost a 50-win team. Like Memphis is a solid squad, but like you said, they just can't beat good teams. Thunder perspective here, right? And something you said, like Thunder team won 68 games, right? Like this is one of the most impressive regular seasons we've ever seen in NBA history. Like that's like we want to talk about that. Like that's what the Thunder just did. So if the Thunder aren't to at least get to the finals, this season would be a massive failure for them, like statistically and analytically speaking. Right now, again, this is a young team. They have so much time to grow. And again, they're kind of following the Celtics trajectory here with getting rushed into this situation. That's a different conversation. But as for this matchup, I agree. 4 games. If it's Dallas, 4 games in like a commanding fashion, right? AD's going to do his thing, but like 4 games and pretty like with ease. Memphis, I agree. It's pretty 50-50 if they take one, because if Memphis gets one early, right? Say they somehow snag 1 or 2 games, 1 or 2, which I don't see happening on the road. But if they were to, then I think that kind of wakes them up and maybe they get a little bit of confidence because they are a good team. Desmond Bane, John Morant, Jaren Jackson Jr. I mean, they have some top heavy play there. Edey, I think, is going to be a complete disaster if this series happens, and I don't think Edey's playable in this series against Chet, or even Hartenstein. But again, they have some depth at the top half of that roster. So I see 5, but I mean, from an Oklahoma standpoint, like that's what this is all about. Like this for them is a preseason till what the second round brings. And I don't really see either of these teams even making it like if Memphis wins, it's not going to be a competitive 5 games, right? It's going to be like a series where it's like, okay, Oklahoma commandingly takes games 1 and 2. Memphis pulls out a commanding random game 3 victory. And then Oklahoma's like, oh, okay, commanding game 4 win, commanding game 5 win. You know what I'm saying? It's not like a Celtics magic where it might be like Celtics sweep, but like each game is like really close and like really like competitive almost, or like 2 or 3 are. I don't see it falling like that. I think it's just like one of those series where you look, it's like, 20-point win there, 15-point win there, 20-point win there. Excuse me.
No, I could also see. I also see the play styles in this series as the Grizzlies' play style. I feel like plays into Oklahoma City's hands because the
Right.
Grizzlies they'll play in transition. They like to go to the hole. They like to go inside on the interior and get their points that way. In a fast paced manner. It's not like they're posting up and going down low for these points, but they're trying to drive to the basket and get points at the basket, and they're trying to push it in transition. I think under those circumstances, Oklahoma City, for one, obviously has the versatility defensively to handle those drives to the rim. But just from a transition standpoint, I think Oklahoma City is going to be comfortable playing an up and down game with Memphis. If that is the series, of course, and I'm going Memphis or Dallas, but just preparing for Memphis if they win tonight. I think they're going to be comfortable with going up and down the floor with Memphis, and I think they're going to be comfortable with the Memphis if they try to penetrate Oklahoma City's defense. If Memphis does, I think Oklahoma City is going to do a good job at re- at assuring themselves that the Grizzlies are not consistently getting downhill with Ja Morant. I think the Grizzlies, you just look at their roster, there's not a ton of options. Like Ja
No.
Morant is your main guy. It's like Desmond Bain can create a little bit, but he's not as good of a playmaker. Just as a scorer, he's more of a just shooter within his game. Now there are aspects of Desmond Bain's play over the years that have come along and made him a better player to obviously get the max contract he's owed right now, but there's not too many options. Like Jaren Jackson and Desmond Bain. If you took John Moran off this team, it's like Jaren Jackson and Desmond Bain. Like they're basically Bam Adebayo and Tyler
Bio and
Hero in
Tyler
Memphis.
Hero. That's
It's like
exactly, yes. Yep.
it's funny how they're both in the position to win the 8th seed tonight. But
Right.
that's kind of how Memphis looks without John Morant. And even with John Morant, it's like John Morant. Sometimes the antics, like I as a young player and like a young hungry player, it's like, oh yeah, John Morant antics, like they're fun. They can be fun here and there. But it's like at some point in the game, you'll see with Memphis, it's like some of those antics and what they do, it's like kind of seeps into their game. It's like they're not really playing their game. They don't play well. It's like John Morant, he's too focused on all of the hoopla, it feels like going on outside of the court. It's like, oh, every fan in the front row or the team's bench or whoever, somebody else on the other team, then actually playing the game well. It's like there's too many sloppy turnovers
Right.
with John Morant. There's too many bad shots, too many bad decisions made. And I believe they're talking about, we mentioned Bill Simmons on here a lot, but I believe we were talking about on the Bill Simmons podcast how John Morant, and I totally agree with this point, is they're talking about how when he used to go to the rim, he had these like acrobatic like finishes where you just thought, oh, he's totally out of control in the air, but this is actually a point in which only Ja Morant is in control and he's going to make something amazing happen. You just don't feel that with Ja Morant anymore, whether it's because of his injuries, maybe he's lost a step athletically since his rookie season and his first couple years in the NBA. Maybe that's the case, but just Ja Morant doesn't have the same pizzazz to his game. There are more antics than ever. I'll say that. There's more of I mean the throwing the grenade and whatnot. I mean that I actually think that was a clever celebration. I'll say
Yeah,
that right now.
I liked it. I won't
I
lie.
especially after he got fined. He's like, oh, I got fined for shooting. It's like, let me throw a bomb in the crowd right now. It's like, let me do that. But I thought that was pretty clever. But outside of that, it's like there's too much attention to that, and some of his
Right.
play has just been really sloppy. And I wonder what the motivation level is out there. I know he's always been advertised as a dog. He's hungry, he wants all the smoke. But sometimes I do think it's like, okay, you want all the smoke, but I do feel like that vibe, right, that Ja Morant gives out, it used to be for the league. It's like, give me all the smoke, NBA, give me all the smoke. Now it's like it seems like there's like internal strife sometimes with Ja Morant's like front office, like obviously Taylor Jenkins, he's ousted as head coach. Like, is there more of that internal? Like he's not happy in Memphis? Like, I don't know what the deal is there, but
Right.
I just in terms of the series between Memphis and Oklahoma City, Memphis, if it's Memphis, of course, Memphis just there's just not enough on their roster. They're only gonna be able to play one way. It's gonna be through Ja Morant. And I just don't think he's had the best season in the world. I think there's too many things he's focused on outside of playing well on the basketball floor. And just from that standpoint, I think Oklahoma City is one of the most versatile teams in the league. We talked about all season, 68 wins on the year. That is no joke. They're gonna come
Right.
in here and just be able to whoop
Just
Memphis. I could see I again I you the preview you gave, it's like, oh, could Memphis randomly grab a commanding game within the series, like game 2 or game 3? 100%. But then outside of that, it's like I just see the Thunder blowing past
right.
Memphis 100%. I see the Thunder blowing past Memphis, and I also see if this is 3-0, that game 4 has the potential to seriously be one of the greatest rollover games of all time by
Right.
either the Grizzlies or the Mavericks. Whether it's either one of those teams, if OKC's up 3-0, that game 4, both of those teams, by the time game 4 comes around, they're gonna have their plane tickets to Cancun
Yeah.
booked.
Yeah.
100%.
No doubt. And it's like the way I look at it, I call Boston the stone wall of the East, right? Because it's so hard to get through. OKC is the stone wall of the West, right? There's just that little crack. There's a little tiny crack in that stone wall that a team can punch, and it's just the experience. If a team can somehow punch that experience and then punch a hole through that crack, with obviously talent, that punch has to be hard, right? You can't be a soft little like like a little I don't know, a little jab, right?
Well,
It's got to
yeah,
be
yeah.
you need a little Superman punch. Then you can take down that stone wall, but Boston doesn't have that. But so again, different beast, just a different beast. Like it's like it is what it is. If you're Memphis or Dallas, but Dallas stands no chance. Easy, clean sweep for Memphis. They stand like a little bit of a chance, probably still a clean sweep, but could see a world 5.